And talking about repair brings us to our next story. The Spanish football has a lot of it to do. It seems quite strange because they should be riding the high of winning the Women's World Cup last Sunday. This is their maiden title. But the good that 11 female players did on the field was spoilt by one man off it. And he isn't your average Joe. He's this man, Luis Rubiales. He's the president of Spain's Football Federation. The 46-year-old courted controversy, to put it mildly, just moments after Spain made history. He was on stage for the prize distribution ceremony, and here's what he did. Rubiales kissed Spain's Jennifer Hermoso on the lips. Take a look. First came what looked like a really aggressive hug. I'm not a body language expert, but this seems pretty obvious. Then came the infamous kiss out of nowhere. The 33-year-old Hermoso's first reaction was to say that she felt, quote-unquote, uncomfortable, and who wouldn't? And you know what Rubiales' first reaction was? Predictably, he dismissed it. He called it a small gesture of affection that was being blown out of proportion. People were demanding an apology. What they got instead was an untenable justification. You know what they say? Offense is the best form of defense. It used to be a sporting rule. Now it seems to be a playbook of sexual predators. And remember, this was a tent-pole event. The eyes of the world were on this stage. Rubiales was standing next to the Spanish queen and her teenage daughter. Yet he felt entitled enough to do what he did. Now, amid calls for his resignation and under investigation by FIFA, this is how he has responded.
I will not resign. I will not resign. I will not resign. I will not resign. I will not resign.
No voy a dimitir.
I will not resign, he says. And you see the applause. As if Rubiales is the one who is the injured party. Like he deserves our support. Tinder box of testosterone. That would be an apt way to describe men like Rubiales. And there is no shortage of this kind in Spanish football. As the outrage over his unsolicited kiss continues, another incident from the final has come to light. This one involves the Spanish coach, Jorge Vilda. He appeared to be touching a female staff member inappropriately. Even before this, he was not a popular figure in the team. Last year, 15 players had written to the Football Association, their governing body. They threatened to not play for the national team unless Vilda was sacked. They said he was damaging their mental health. And here's how. The coach reportedly forced the players to keep their hotel rooms open till midnight. How would that help them play better? Your guess is as good as mine. This culture of harassment at the workplace is all pervasive. In sports, as in life, ask any woman. This is not an isolated incident, only the most recent one. Now, before you declare me guilty of feminist theorizing, just like Rubiales blasted what he calls false feminism, listen to this. First, let's dim the gaslight. Now, you can say, why don't the abused speak up? Many have questioned why Hermoso did not object right then and there. I can hazard a guess. Practically all women have been told sometime in their life to not be troublemakers. Don't create a scene, just put your head down and play ball. Stay out of trouble even if you did not invite it. If you dare to speak up, you risk it all. This silence further emboldens the predators. Like I said before, the Spanish Football Federation president or coach are not outliers. Sexual harassment under the guise of mentorship is not new in sports. In 2021, players of the Venezuelan national football team accused a former coach of sexual harassment. 18% of women in football have suffered sexual harassment at work. That's the finding from a survey done this year. And it's not just football. Remember Larry Nassar. He was at the center of the biggest sex abuse scandal in sporting history. He was the US gymnastics national team doctor. His victims were mostly impressionable minors. His abuse continued for well over a decade, all under the pretense of a medical treatment. More than 300 women accused him of abusing them. And this includes star Olympian Simone Biles. America's most celebrated gymnast said, while the abuse is over, the trauma endures. That is the burden the survivors carry, a scar for life. And what happens to the abusers? Most of them get away with it. Some suffer reputational damage, and very few, like Nasar, are brought to justice. Your safety cannot be collateral damage for your dreams. That should be breathtakingly obvious, but it's not. Fair play is the cornerstone of any sport. But when will the women get a taste of it?